The ZBC Group Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Hepison Muchechetere, has assured equal airplay to all political parties contesting in the forthcoming harmonized elections.
Addressing thousands of Zimbabweans who gathered at Zimbabwe grounds in Highfield for the launching of the ZANU-PF manifesto in Harare this Friday, Comrade Mugabe called on ZANU-PF candidates to go back to the people and unite them ahead of the elections, which he described as a national battle for survival. He urged the candidates to go into the impending battle fully armed and win or at least 90% of the constituencies to enable parliament and government to function properly in fulfilling the wishes and needs of the people.
The party secretary for youth in the Politburo, Comrade Absalom Skosana,
the ZANU-PF Women's League National Secretary for Information and Publicity,
said the party should remain united so that it wins the forthcoming polls.
Comrade Kindness Paraza urged supporters to do away with the protest vote as happened in 2008 and ensure that the number of votes attained by the president in each ward tallies with those of the ward.
Meanwhile, the first Secretary of ZANU-PF, Head of State and Government and Commander-in-Chief of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, President Robert Mugabe.
The Head of State and Government and Commander-in-Chief of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, President Robert Mugabe.
The Head of State and Government and Commander-in-Chief of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, President Robert Mugabe, has thanked the man of God, St. Noah Taguta, for his visionary leadership at Mafararikwa village in Marange.
The President said in 2008, Zimbabweans made mistakes in voting political quislings who were mere fans of Rhodesians, and this should not be repeated this year.
Gorera 2008, makore mashanu apfuura. Takatadza kuvhota imwe kuno. Tovhotera vanhu vaye vanoda kudzora varungu. Vanoda kutongwa nevarungu vanoti hapana budiriro ingavepo pasina varungu.
A stadium in Marondera saw MDCT members gather for the launch of the MDCT manifesto.
Election iri kuyai. Tinoiwina. Mugabe and ZANU-PF think that they will win it. But in the face of unfree and unfair conditions, I don't think the forthcoming election will be legitimate.
Addressing poultry crowds in Vurwe and Glendale, Mr. Morgan Tsvangirai made the number of pledges he promised to implement if voted into power. Mr. Tsvangirai attributed the country's economic challenges to mismanagement. He, however, did not talk about the impact of Western-imposed illegal sanctions.
More MDCT supporters have defected to ZANU-PF in Makokoba constituency in Bulawayo, citing unfair treatment in the Morgan Tsvangirai-led party.
MDC Secretary General Mrs. Priscilla Misia Irambwe Mshonga tried to explain to the people that she is also part of the Ndebele people and they should vote for her. Her explanation follows the chaos that characterized the party's primary elections in Umzingwane constituency, where the MDC wanted to impose her, but the people refused, saying she is not one of their own.
The Zimbabwe Development Party President Mr. Kisnod Mukwache told the ZBC News that political parties calling for media reforms are concentrating on the state media while ignoring the private media. Mr. Mukwache said the local private media is publishing hate language, yet the political parties have supported such papers.
So we are very much content. We appreciate what the state media has done in appreciating the laws governing the elections. But the private media, to be very much honest, they have not reformed. They still say some hate speeches in their reporting. So that must not be allowed to continue.
This message is brought to you by Team ZANU-PF.